So we're talking about the staircase murders, right, with Mike Peterson. So let's talk about this. Say it out loud. 1985, Mike Peterson having dinner at their friend's house. Elizabeth, his then wife Patricia, takes her. They live very close, just a few doors apart. They take their children home. Mike sticks around to help Elizabeth put her daughters to bed. The housekeeper finds Elizabeth dead the next morning down at the bottom of the stairs. Mike Peterson then adopts those little girls and raises them as his own. They are very loyal to and love him, and you see that in the documentary. What a crazy coincidence, though, that Mike's second wife falls down the stairs and dies, bleeds out, just like Elizabeth Ratliff. Her body became part of this investigation. Elizabeth Ratliff's body was exhumed and examined. I think she was returned home to Houston, Texas, or the Houston area, and her body was examined. Her death was ruled by a medical examiner without any of the other additional evidence and without, I don't know how much communication there was with the German inquest or any medical examiner who did the investigation in 1985 in Germany where it actually happened, but they made a finding that it was a homicide, and they introduced evidence that there was a homicide with Elizabeth Ratliff falling downstairs, and at a minimum it taught Peterson how to create an accident that is exactly like what killed his wife, right? He knew how to fake this because he'd seen it happen in real life. Or maybe he killed that other lady too. Crazy coincidence, crazy. There's also something that came out after Mike Peterson was convicted of murder and life without the possibility of parole. There was some mention in the trial court evidence that a owl, which is a crazy and was mocked theory to begin with, but that there was a feather, a large feather that was part of the state's evidence. And while initially laughed off, raptors, of which, birds of prey, right? Eagles, vultures, owls, raptors, predators. Large birds of prey can attack, and they happened to attack regularly in the Petersons' neighborhood, and even more interestingly, microscopic owl feathers, splinters from a tree limb, and cedar needles were in a clump of Kathleen's hair that had been torn out by the roots. She had wounds to her skull, wounds to her scalp, and those wounds were deep lacerations, not unlike predatory bird claws. Talons is what they're called. There's indication that she bled outside and then came in, slammed a door shut, and maybe that's where she fell on the stairs. But if she was attacked by an owl, intoxicated, feeling a little good from the Valium, and then attacked by an owl late at night, runs inside, scared, frantic, bleeding, and then falls in the stairwell, right? Knocks herself out and then continues to bleed, maybe gets up, slips around, bleeds more. It's not beyond the realm of further investigation, but it was so far from what could realistically be looked at, especially when there was this representation of a perfect marriage, and then things were found out about the affair the fact that the affairs with gay men by Mike Peterson, and then of course the stolen valor issue, laser focused the district attorney's office on nothing but Michael Peterson. More to come on this true crime, this fascinating story on true crime next.